Hi, everybody. Michael Lazaroff here from Signature Cruise Experiences. Welcome to the Journey of Jazz webinar. We are really excited about this upcoming cruise. We're going to give people just a couple more minutes um, to sign up. We have way over 400 people that are signed up for this, and we want to give everybody the opportunity to participate. So let's wait just a couple of minutes and I'll be back and we will start. Thank you very much. Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm back, Michael Lazaroff from Signature Cruise Experiences. I'm here with Ann and with Jordan and with Aubrey, and we're going to give you a lot of information. First, Ann is going to give some of the housekeeping things before we start in with the substance of this call.
Okay. All right, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us today as we get ready for Journey of Jazz. My name's Ann Simon. I'm the Guest Relations Manager with Signature Cruise Experiences. Before we dive in, as Michael said, I'm going to go over some housekeeping notes. This webinar is being recorded and it will be available on the booked guests page of the Journey of Jazz website tomorrow afternoon. So if for any reason you need to step away, you'll still be able to catch the full presentation at your convenience within a day. To ensure the best experience for all attendees, the guests have been muted for the duration of the webinar. However, we encourage you to submit any questions that you might have at this time while we present using the Q&A feature, which should be at the bottom of your screen. There'll be a chat and Q&A, and we want you to encourage the Q&A feature use. We will compile them during the presentation and reserve some time towards the end of this presentation to address as many as we can. Any questions we aren't able to cover live will be followed up via email within the next 24 to 48 hours. And we are thrilled to be joined today by our presenters, Aubrey Pavlik, the Director of Guest Relations and Communications, Brad Pavlik, Director of Cruise Operations, and as you've heard him already, Michael Lazaroff, the owner and executive director of SCE Cruises. All right, so we're going to go ahead and turn it over to Aubrey now.
No,
Oh, no, Michael's going to talk.
yeah, sorry about that. I'm gonna give you just some of the background of the cruise. I have written this before, but it is sort of interesting as to how this cruise came to pass. We haven't done a cruise on the West Coast in many, many years, largely because there really was only one itinerary, and it was San Diego to Cabo San Lucas to Mazatlan to Puerto Vallarta. And even though that was a terrific cruise, it was hard to do that more than once for each of the programs. And also by doing that, we were forfeiting some of our a cruise program opportunities. So that made it very, very difficult for us to do that. But when we found out that Celebrity Summit, which is our ship, that is the ship that we use all the time, was going to be going from Alaska and a repositioning to the Caribbean during the fall, and that there were segmented sailings for that ship, and that one of the legs of it is a Vancouver to Victoria to San Francisco to Los Angeles. We just thought that that was a terrific opportunity to produce a jazz program. Um, even though San Francisco and Victoria and LA may not be the traditional jazz centers, they are certainly centers of the kind of lifestyle that most of our jazz folks love, particularly San Francisco with its proximity to Napa, Sonoma. So we thought that this would be a terrific opportunity to develop some land-based events for our guests, just something different. So we started looking at trips to Napa, Sonoma, shows at SF Jazz, culinary events in San Francisco, and it became very exciting. And so this is the cruise. Um, Journey of Jazz. What we decided was that for the first Journey of Jazz, we would turn it into a history of jazz program. For those who have sailed with Marcus Miller before, he has a show called The History of Jazz, where he in about 90 minutes using music, not words, tells the story of the history of jazz. Well, we're going to do this over the entire cruise, which is why some of the artists we have a Robbie Coltrane, who is a John Coltrane son. We have the Brubeck brothers, obviously Dave's sons, and we have other things like that, so that we can really tell the full story of the history of jazz. We have a full big band, Clayton Hamilton Jazz Orchestra. That is certainly a very significant part of the history of jazz. And we have Diana Krall and Dee Dee Bridgewater. It's a terrific lineup, and for the first time since the jazz cruise went to New Orleans, which was 7 or 8 years ago, we're actually doing these on land events, and we're doing them at cost. That is not a profit center for us. We're just passing the exact cost on to our guests, but we are curating them, and we're going to be running them, and it should be a lot of fun. So without any further ado, with that background, Aubrey, you want to walk them through the pre-cruise information and some of the boarding information?
I would be happy to. Thank you. So we have some basic details here for you. As Michael mentioned, we are on the Celebrity Summit. It is our ship, which we know and love. The sailing dates are Friday to Friday, so September 12th through the 19th. As Michael mentioned, we are sailing out of Vancouver. We are disembarking in LA, and we stop in Victoria and then overnight in San Francisco. And we'll be going over some of those excursion options that Michael mentioned in a little bit more detail later on in this presentation. And Anne, if you want to switch to the next slide. Thank you. Okay, so as far as other items that are important to address prior to getting on board the cruise, one of the most important things is Celebrity Cruises online check-in. So that is required for all guests and can easily be completed using your Celebrity Cruises account. So you're going to need to go to the link that's provided here, which is celebritycruises.com/account. And you can sign in or you can create an account. So if you have not yet cruised with Celebrity or created an account, there's a couple easy steps that you need to go through, but it's pretty simple. This is available starting next month on July 29th. So it's actually starting 45 days prior to the cruise. We're 100 days out right now, which is very exciting. And it is open through 3 days prior to the cruise. So until September 9th, you can complete the online check-in process. Once you are signed in to your online account through Celebrity, all you have to do is start check-in. And the process is really pretty simple. It leads you through a step-by-step procedure. It should take you less than 15 minutes to complete the whole process for online check-in per person. There are a few items that you'll want to have handy when you are going to complete this process. Namely, you will definitely want your passport with you, your credit card with you, your Celebrity Cruises reservation number, which has been distributed to you from us in Get Ready number 2, and you'll receive it a couple more times in those Get Ready emails that you're receiving. During the process, you'll also be asked to pick a window of time that you're going to be arriving to the terminal. These are available to you in half-an-hour windows. They start at 11 a.m., they close at 3 p.m. So we just ask that you take your travel time into consideration. For instance, if you are arriving to the airport in that morning, you want to make sure that you're baking in enough time to get from the airport to the actual terminal downtown. They do try to really regulate, and since they've implemented the terminal arrival windows, it really just helps with the guest flow. So just try to take that into account, what is realistic for you to get to the terminal. After you complete your check-in, your Express Pass will be available for you to download and print. This is a very important piece. It serves as your boarding pass on embarkation day. I'll talk about it in a couple minutes here as well. And then starting at 30 days prior to embarkation, so that's going to be August 13th for Journey of Jazz, Celebrity also will have luggage tags that become available for you to print within your Celebrity account. We will send you another email in the Get Ready series at that point, letting you know that those have become available. But at that point, you'll want to print those out and attach those to your luggage when you get to the Vancouver area. Again, another important step, it just tells Celebrity where to deliver your luggage once you're on board. Another part of Celebrity's kind of platform is called their pre-cruise planner. And this really is a great way to make purchases and or peruse different options that you have for on board the ship prior to even stepping on board. So again, it can be accessed in your Celebrity account. And on this occasion, you need to actually click the Plan My Cruise button within your Celebrity account. So in this platform, you can make specialty dining reservations, you can book your beverage packages, internet packages, different spa treatments, other amenities on board, the celebrity-related shore excursions, which I'll talk about the difference between the ones that we're currently offering and the ones that they're offering. But you can make all of those purchases online and in the comfort of your own home. They also have good pricing available for you prior to getting on board the cruise. So we worked with Celebrity to get special pricing on both the beverage and the internet packages, and they're actually reflected in pre-cruise planner. So there's nothing that you need to do that's special other than if you would like to make that type of purchase, whether it's a drink package or the Wi-Fi package, do that prior to getting on board because you're going to get that discount. For this year, for Journey of Jazz, we have a 20% discount on the premium beverage package, the classic beverage package, and the non-alcohol beverage package. So really nice pricing on those if you're interested in a beverage package. And then we also have 20% discounts on the premium 2-device and the 1-device Wi-Fi packages. So again, it's a really nice way to save a little bit of time on embarkation day so that you don't have to go around the ship and find where you can make those purchases. But B, save a little bit of money as well if those items are of interest to you. And Celebrity's pre-cruise planner. Yeah, of course.
Oh.
Go ahead. I always tell guests when it comes to the beverage packages, you really have to do a significant amount of drinking to justify the alcohol packages. It would be a very long week, okay, of 7 days of drinking to get that done. However, I strongly recommend getting the non-alcoholic beverage packages for waters and coffees and things like that, and then do your alcohol purchases a la carte, when it based upon your actual usage. The inner workings of a cruise ship are very dry. They have to be. They are sucking out moisture all the time, or else there'd be fungus and there'd be all kinds of stuff all over the ship. So keeping yourself hydrated is really important. And you do get thirsty. There are free beverages in the Ocean View Cafe, but in terms of, again, waters and coffees and things like that, a non-alcoholic beverage package, and then alcohol by consumption might be the best way to go. Thanks, Aubrey.
Of course, very good point. And just back to the pre-cruise planner. So it is currently available to all of you. Again, you just need to sign into your Celebrity account and use your Celebrity reservation number that we have sent you. You may make purchases, modifications, or if you even would like to cancel a purchase that you have made until 3 days prior to the cruise, you can do that starting now. So anytime that you'd like to go in and take a look at what is currently available and the pricing for that, we highly recommend doing it before you get on board the ship. Okay, we will move on to boarding requirements now. So these should look familiar to you, especially if you've sailed before. One item of note is that everyone does need a passport, should be valid through March 12th of 2026, which is 6 months after we get off of the ship. For those of you who have maybe previously used a birth certificate and a government issue photo ID, that is not valid for this cruise since we start in Canada and end in the US. So again, everybody does need their passport. Along those same lines, if you are from a country that a visa is required, either for Canada or the United States, you will need that prior to getting on board. That is checked and double checked, probably when you're arriving into the airport, and then also once you're getting on board. So again, just if you are from a country that does require a visa for either Canada or the US, make sure that you have that ready to go. Again, keep your medications and valuables on you, definitely important. Don't pack those away. Your express pass, which we talked about a little bit, that's what you're going to print once you complete that online check-in. You're going to want to have a printed copy of that if you can. And then the wine and spirits allowance, which is on embarkation day. Every guest may actually bring one standard bottle of wine or champagne with them. So that's 750 milliliters, I believe, and that's one per guest. You are going to want to have that on you. If you have other beverages that you would like to bring on, you can bring those on embarkation day. They don't have it for non-alcoholic, I should specify. Non-alcoholic beverages, you can bring those on embarkation day. So waters and sodas. There's not a standard limit. It's just that it needs to be hand carried on. So if you have a couple of bottles of water that you would like to bring with you, that needs to be hand carried with you onto the ship. Okay, moving on to embarkation day. So our embarkation day port is in Vancouver at the Canada Place cruise ship terminal. We're going to be in the East Berth. The good news is that we're the only ship in port that day. Everyone should be able to easily see the Celebrity Summit. There should be minimal lines for you all. And the terminal is actually right downtown in Vancouver. So we highly encourage people to come in the day prior. Helps make sure that if you have any travel issues, that you're getting there in time, you're not too rushed, you get a good night's sleep, and then you can kind of leisurely get over to the terminal on embarkation day morning. Upon arrival, there are a few different steps that you should follow to ensure the best boarding experience when you're arriving to the terminal. So first and foremost, you're going to want to follow your terminal arrival time. I mentioned this on the last slide, but you're required to select that terminal arrival time during that online check-in process. So if you selected the 11:30 to 12 o'clock time frame, just try to make sure that you're getting there close to that time frame. Again, it's just to help with guest flow, make sure that we have a nice number of people flowing and that not everybody's coming right at 11 or right at 3 p.m. when we're closing. In your hand, you are going to want, oops, sorry. When you get there, you're also going to want to transfer your luggage to the luggage handlers. So again, we highly encourage that at that 30-day mark, when the celebrity luggage tags become available, you print those out. You're going to want to pack those until you get to the Vancouver area. And then once you get to the Vancouver area, then attach those to every single piece of luggage that you're going to turn over to the luggage handlers. Just make sure that they're affixed, very important, as it tells them where to actually take the luggage once it's on board. Those are kind of flimsy. They're just paper tags. So there are some clear luggage tag holders that are available on Amazon that fit celebrities' luggage tags pretty nicely. In our next Get Ready, which will go out later this month, we'll send a link out to you. Amazon has a variety of them. There's, I'm sure, different stores that also have them available, but it just reinforces that paper tag so it doesn't accidentally fall off in the process of getting it on board. And then finally, we do highly recommend tipping the luggage handlers who are assisting you that morning. They are obviously very important to get your luggage on board and to your stateroom. And so we want to make sure that they feel appreciated. And best way to do that that we know of is to give them a little bit of tip money. So once you do all of that, hand over your luggage, you're going to go ahead and enter the terminal. Again, we are the only ship that's in port. So it should be all our guests that are in the terminal, which is very nice. You're going to complete your registration. If you have already completed the online check-in process, It's going to be a very quick process for you. They'll ask you a couple of health and safety questions, and they might snap your photo if you haven't done that yet. If you don't complete the online check-in process prior to 3 days prior, they will take you up to the counter, and it takes a little bit longer for you. So that's part of the reason why we highly recommend doing that online check-in once it becomes available at 45 days prior. And then finally, you're just going to board the ship when you are called. So most of the time, people are not waiting very long, if at all, once they go through that kind of final process in the terminal. A lot of times people can just go on board. So it's pretty nice. Boarding the ship. Okay, so once you board the ship, your stateroom is going to be available to you. We do recommend going to your stateroom first as one of the first places that you're going. Your cruise identification cards or your room keys, which is also your charge card, on board. They're going to be available for you right outside of your stateroom in kind of like a mail slot right outside of there. So you can go ahead and pick that up and get into your stateroom. You can put down any of the hand luggage that you have that you might not want to carry around with you, freshen up, use the restroom. And then it's a good time to kind of walk around and explore the ship and perhaps get a bite of something to eat. Your luggage will be at your stateroom on or before 6 p.m. If you come later in the day, closer to that 3 p.m. closing time frame, it will probably be closer to the 6 p.m. time frame. But if you are arriving to the terminal pretty early, typically it's a couple hours before then. And then there's some important handouts that you are going to receive as you are walking on board the ship as well. One of them is a welcome letter. It will talk about a lot of the things that we address in the Get Ready series, but just reminders on food outlets that are available to you if you're hungry, different bars, the main theater seating procedures. It will also have where you can purchase some of those different amenities if you have not done so once you get on board. You will also receive a souvenir program, which is a beautiful booklet that is put together. It talks all about the lineup. It talks a little bit about the itinerary, and of course, Journey of Jazz will talk a little bit about the history of jazz for this particular cruise. So a nice keepsake. It does not have our schedule in there any longer. But we will be releasing the schedule along with the cruise app about 10 days prior to the cruise. So you'll see that. We definitely recommend, once we let you know that the cruise app is available to you, to download that prior to getting on board the ship. Once you get on board, if you're connected to the internet, then you'll just have to use the onboard Wi-Fi, which might be a little bit slower to download that. So we really do recommend getting that cruise app on your phone prior to that and making sure that you have the most up-to-date schedule in there. Finally, you will also receive a lanyard as you are walking on board the ship. And this is great for keeping your cruise identification card in it. So it's just something nice to put around your neck and not have to worry about carrying a wallet or a bag if you do not want to. Once you are on board, as I mentioned, grabbing a bite to eat is highly recommended. You're probably going to work up an appetite by that time frame. The Ocean View Cafe, which is on deck 10, is open for everyone. That is the main buffet. It is open once you're getting on board. So around 11:30 is when people are starting to embark typically. And that will be open pretty much until the evening. Aqua and concierge class staterooms also have a lunch available to them in the Cosmopolitan restaurant on deck 5. And that is going to run from 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. You will get a reminder on embarkation day if you are in one of those stateroom categories. And then anyone who is staying in a suite will also have a lunch in Lumine from 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. And that is also Lumine deck 4, and that's in the aft of the ship as well. So all three of those are in the aft. Um, we talked a little bit about our excursions, and we'll talk a little bit more about our excursions that we're currently offering through us, Signature Cruise Experiences. Um, but anything that you have purchased prior to the cruise, we will be distributing the tickets and confirmations to your staterooms on embarkation day. So at this point, there's no need to pick anything up. If you've pre-purchased that, you will receive all of that information into your stateroom. We will, however, have a shore excursions desk on deck 3 for any of our SCE curated excursions, where you can come to ask questions. You can book additional available tours if there's some available still at that point, or address any concerns that you might have at that point. That will be available all during the week, and we'll post the hours of that in the app and in the daily program. If you weren't able to complete any of your dining reservations or package purchases in advance in that pre-cruise planner platform that I talked about a little bit ago, time between boarding and sail away party is a good time to do that. You can see here that they are listed kind of all over the ship, so there's not really one great central area to make these reservations. Spa is up on deck 10 forward. You can call them via phone. Specialty will have a station set up in the grand foyer on deck 3. They also have one outside of Ocean View Cafe on deck 10. Beverage packages can be purchased at any bar with any server around the ship. And then Wi-Fi packages, you're going to want to connect to the Wi-Fi guest summit, and then you can just follow the instructions there. And then, as I mentioned, we will have our SCE excursions desk on deck 3, and then Celebrity will also have their excursions that they offer available at their shore excursions desk on deck 3 as well. One important item to note for our Signature Cruise Experiences excursions is that the wine tour, so all of those that are going to Napa Valley and Sonoma, we're going to all of the different vineyards and wineries there, and then the Napa Valley Wine Train, those have to be purchased prior to July 31st. We can't accommodate additional signups on board. So if any of those that are still available are of interest to you, particularly the Napa Valley and Sonoma wineries, please take a look at those in this coming days and try to make those purchases prior to July 31st because they need those final counts prior to us being on board. Okay, mandatory safety procedure. One thing that is nice that Celebrity changed, gosh, a few years ago now, is that you don't all have to do the safety procedure at one time. So it's really great. You can just watch the safety demonstration on your Celebrity Cruises app or your in-room TV. And then what you're going to do is proceed to the muster station, your muster station. So that's listed on the back of your cruise ID card or on the back of your stateroom door. So you can take a look at that. Celebrity will also have a number of people, their staff, around the ship. So if you don't know where your muster station is supposed to be, you can just let them know. You can show them your cruise identification card and they can assist you in getting to your muster station. And then they'll just do a pretty quick check-in with you, make sure that you have watched the video. If you have any questions, you can ask them. And that is about it. So there's no sitting for a while and waiting for everybody to assemble, which is really nice. And finally, as we've talked about a little bit, you can explore the ship during this time. So if this is your first time on the Celebrity Summit, or if you haven't been in a few years, you can walk around the ship to see where all the key venues are located. There's a number of the entertainment venues that you can go see. So the theater, Sky Lounge, which are both forward, Rendezvous Lounge, which is midship, and the Cosmopolitan Restaurant, which is the main dining room, but we also transform into a beautiful jazz cabaret at nighttime. And then, of course, the dining venues as well. So that Cosmopolitan Restaurant, which is the main dining room again, Lumine, SE Cruises Chops House, Signature at Cuisine, Sushi on Five, Tuscan Grill, Ocean View Cafe, the list goes on. So again, very important food outlets that you're going to want to know the location of. And I believe that is it from me, Anne. So I think I'll pass it back over to Michael.
Very good, Aubrey. Thank you for doing that. Lots of information there. I'm going to talk about the entertainment now, the format and the venues. We have made a lot of time spent on the excursions that are off the ship, but I want to assure everyone that in no way, shape, or form um, does that mean that the entertainment on the ship will be any different? It's going to be the same 200 hours of music that we always have, the same kind of shows and everything else. Since this is a brand new cruise, Journey of Jazz, we do have new guests, people that have never sailed with us before, and we have guests who have come from other other cruise programs of ours. For those who are coming from Blue Note, Bodie, the Smooth Jazz Cruise, the format for a Journey of Jazz will be the same. For those who only know the Jazz Cruise, it is a little different. The Jazz Cruise is done festival style where there aren't there are some main shows in that they're in the main theater, but they're not separated. They're not ticketed. You can come and go. Although on the Jazz Cruise, the first night with the welcome show, we do have a red blue designation, and also on the Hall of Fame night. Difference here is every night is a red blue designation. So we divide the guests 50-50 based upon seating in the theater. All of you that have booked, you know whether you are going to the first show or to the second show. Most people that are going to the first show dine after the first show. Most people going to the second show dine before the for second show starts. The main shows of the first night is going to be History of Jazz. That'll be a Marcus Miller's 2-hour presentation. It is going to be unbelievably cool. The next night, we have a special guest, Diana Krall, and she will be performing with Jeff Hamilton and John Clayton. I think I'm okay. And um, for those who do not know, that's how she began her career. One of the first groups that she really worked with was John and Jeff, and they brought her into prominence. And this is sort of a reunion, although they are touring right now, which is actually very, very, very cool. And then the next night, we have our NEA Jazz Masters night. That's going to be a Chucho Valdez and a Dee Dee Bridgewater. They will each be doing a show, and then we get into a San Francisco, and on the first night there, we have the amazing Clayton Hamilton Jazz Orchestra, and it goes on and on with all of the rest of our artists. So those are the main shows. So from 5:30 or 6 until about 8, half of our guests are at the main show, and the other half are presumably dining. And then from 9 o'clock to 10:45, 11 is the opposite of that. And then after that, we have a cruising after dark where we open up the entire ship, and there is music everywhere, up in the Sky Lounge, Rendezvous, back into the a main dining room, which we convert to an amazing cabaret style, and it's it is really cool. When we are at sea, it is the a festival style during the day as well. No red, blue, no tickets. You come and go as you please. Um, so that's the entertainment. We're going to have some very special elements to it. When you get your a performance schedule, which should be available about 10 days prior to sailing, you will see a whole bunch of events that are a designated history of jazz events. And we are doing history of jazz shows. Wycliffe Gordon's going to do a New Orleans show. We have other aspects of the world of jazz. There'll be interviews of Ravi Coltrane about his father, the Brubeck brothers, as I mentioned earlier, and things like that. So the theme of the first Journey of Jazz cruise is, in fact, the history of jazz. Okay. The hosts are Marcus Miller and a Gregory Porter. Marcus has hosted, gosh, probably almost 50 of our cruises. Gregory Porter has performed on a whole bunch of our cruises there. They are good friends, and they're going to be absolutely terrific hosts. And again, special guest Diana Krall, and also the Clayton Hamilton Jazz Orchestra. We have Dee Dee Bridgewater, Cecile McLaurin Salvant, and a whole host of other artists, as you can see. Ron Carter is performing at SF Jazz on the second day that we are in San Francisco with his quartet, which includes Renee Rosnes, Jimmy Green, and Peyton Crossley. Tickets remain available for that. And the first day that we are in San Francisco, it is the SF Jazz Collective, which is probably one of the foremost jazz groups, jazz bands in the entire world. So that's kind of fun. Eric Marienthal is our music director. Alonzo Bowden, who has been our comic for way over 50 cruises, he'll be on. And we have a culinary host, Michael Bauer, who's in charge of our San Francisco culinary opportunities. Michael was the food editor of the San Francisco Chronicle for years and years and years, and he's famous for wearing disguises to go into restaurants and making reservations under false names and things like that. He's a character. And if you go on the website now, you can see the various culinary opportunities, and I think that you're going to like them very, very much. We have a dim sum opportunity. We have a very nice dinner opportunity, and then a bunch of lunches. For those who picked the dinner opportunity, and I'm sure Brad will say this, we'll make sure that you can see the show that night, which is the Clayton Hamilton Jazz Orchestra, and also do the dinner, which means that the dinner will be later. But other than that, it's going to be like our regular cruises with interviews and events and behind the instruments and seminars and wall-to-wall music, wall-to-wall entertainment, and a terrific opportunity to spend some time with these world-class musicians. Okay. Excursions. I'm going to turn this over to Brad Pavlik, who is Aubrey's lesser half, and he will walk us through all of the excursions.
Well,
Take it away, Brad.
Thank you for that incredible introduction, Michael. And for those who haven't met me, I will anticipate you saying that to me on board when I meet you. So I look forward to it. So as Michael and Aubrey touched on, we have a lot of really exciting opportunities for different things to do in our various ports. So starting with Victoria, we are in Victoria September 13th. We are there all day from 7 a.m. until midnight. So again, a lot of exciting things to do in Victoria. It is an absolutely beautiful port. Um, we have worked with the Victoria Jazz Society to find a great venue to be able to have a concert. The venue is called McPherson Playhouse. It was actually built in 1914. It is one of the oldest theaters in Canada, and Warren Wolf will be performing there on September 13th in the early afternoon. Concert starts at 1:30. So we're very excited for this show. Again, it's in a beautiful venue, which is right downtown Victoria. We still have tickets available for this show. Tickets are available exclusively to our guest right now of Journey of Jazz, and that is until June 13th. After June 13th, tickets will go on sale to the public. So we do anticipate an influx of tickets after June 13th. So anyone who's interested in this show, we highly recommend booking over the next 9 or 10 days or so. We have a number of sightseeing tours that we've curated with Celebrity Cruises, and we have 3 recommended tours that I kind of want to talk about here. One is a whale watching and wildlife tour. For anyone who has been to Pacific Northwest or this particular part of the world, you know it is a place that one of the few places in the world that you can actually from time to time see whales. So we have a whale watching and wildlife tour that should be very, very exciting and really interesting. It is an informational tour, again, about the wildlife in the area, but again, hopefully you'll have an opportunity to see some whales on that tour. We have a tour going to Cradock Castle and Bouchard Gardens. Cradock Castle is a Victorian era mansion that was built in 1887. It is a Canadian historic landmark. It has served as a number of different things over the years, but now is just for viewing for tourists and visitors to Victoria. Again, a beautiful, beautiful old Victoria era mansion. I've been there, so I highly recommend checking that tour out if you don't have plans yet. And then Bouchard Gardens is a 55-acre botanical garden, and again, another Canadian National Historic Site. So you'll get to see both of those kind of historic sites on that tour. We have a third tour, which unfortunately is sold out right now, Bouchard Gardens and Tea and City Highlights. So this goes to Bouchard Gardens and then combines a high tea. Again, that tour is sold out right now, but we do have a join waitlist button on our website. So if that is a tour you are interested, you could join the waitlist and see if anything were to open for that tour. Moving on to San Francisco on September 16th and September 17th, we have, again, a lot of tour options here. Both days that we are in port, we are going to be having multiple tours that go to Napa and Sonoma. Again, we have a lot of tours on both of these days, so I'm not going to go over them one by one, but I will give you a highlight of what you can expect on these tours. All of the tours will go to 2 different wineries. It will make a stop where you will do a tasting at a winery, and then you will go to a second winery where you'll have lunch with a wine tasting. And these are all, there'll be a wine pairing with your lunch. Aubrey and I actually went to Napa and Sonoma along with one other member of our team and did all of these tours. So we can tell you firsthand, these are beautiful wineries. You're gonna have great lunches and just really great tasting experience for anyone who's into wine or looking to learn more about wine. An interesting function on our website, if you were to go to the individual tours, we actually have a grid or a table that's set up on all of the tours that will tell you what the prominent grape at each winery you will visit is. So if you're a Cabernet drinker, you can look at the various wineries and scroll down through the chart and see if the wineries you're targeting are something where there's going to be Cabernets there. If you're a Sauvignon Blanc drinker, same deal. All of the tours have a different grid that will tell you what the prominent grape is for all of the different tours that we're doing. We also have the Napa Valley Wine Train, which I'm sure a number of people on this webinar are booked on. These sold out in very, very short order once we launched them. Again, if you'd like to join the wait list for any of these tours, you can do that on our website. But just very quickly, Napa Valley Wine Train are refurbished carriages one is from 1915 and one is from 1952, where you'll have a tour of the Napa Valley and have lunch and the opportunity to purchase wine along with your lunch. Again, those tours are sold out right now, but if you'd like to join the wait list, you can do so on our website. We have a number of sightseeing tours in San Francisco. We have some city tours that will just take you around San Francisco to give you a general lay of the land if you have not been there before. We have tours that visit Alcatraz, tours that visit Sausalito and the Muir Woods. So all of our tours in San Francisco do still have opportunity to get onto the tour. So you can check those out again on our website. Moving on to our land-based concerts in San Francisco. Each day that we are in San Francisco on the 16th and the 17th, we will have shows that will be taking place at SF Jazz. For anyone who has been to SF Jazz, you know it is one of the most famous and beautiful jazz venues in the world. On the 16th of September, SF Jazz Collective will be performing there. And on the 17th, I think Michael mentioned this earlier in the webinar, the Ron Carter Quartet will be performing there. There are tickets still available for both of these shows. So again, anyone who is interested in listening to some music that afternoon, either afternoon while we're in San Francisco, this is a great option for you. Prices that you will see on our website include transportation to and from the venue, and also include a private bar area where we will serve beer, wine, coffee, bottled water, and sodas. Michael, I know you have been to SF Jazz. Is there anything you want to mention on that venue?
Okay. SF Jazz it's a modern building, but it was the acoustics were absolutely modeled after Carnegie Hall. It's an amazing place to watch and to listen to a jazz show, and they have a bunch of rooms, training rooms. You can have a tour of SF Jazz, just get there, 20 minutes, 30 minutes earlier. Charles Schwab was the major fundraiser for it. There isn't a bad seat. The way that the seats are not set up in a straight lines necessarily. They've got pockets here and pockets there, and it's all done based upon sound, to be able to have everybody get a terrific sound no matter where they're sitting. It is extremely cool, really is. And most artists will say that out of, other than Carnegie Hall or something like that, that it is the finest place to play in the United States for sure. And you'll enjoy it, that's for sure.
Excellent. Thank you, Michael. And just one thing to note on the concerts, everyone, is June. Right now, they are available to everyone on the Journey of Jazz Cruise exclusively. After June 13th, they will be made open. Tickets will be made open to the public. So I would anticipate once tickets go to the public that both of those shows fill up very quickly. So if you are interested in seeing either of those shows or both of them, do purchase your tickets before June 13th. And then lastly, I know there's been a lot of talk about the culinary tours, and I personally am really excited about these tours. I think you all are going to really enjoy them. We have been working, I know Michael just mentioned this, that we have been working with Michael Bauer, who is the former executive food and wine editor for the San Francisco Chronicle. And it's been a lot of fun working with him and setting these tours up. With his knowledge of the restaurant scene in San Francisco and some recommendations from our guests, we have 6 different tours that that are set up that I think you all are going to really enjoy. On September 16th, our first day in San Francisco, there will be a brunch at Abaca. Now, Abaca comes highly recommended from Michael Bauer and was also recommended by a number of guests when we put out a survey. Abaca was recently named a top 50 restaurant in America by the New York Times, and it is a Filipino, California inspired restaurant. And when we are there, they are open for breakfast and lunch. We are going to go in a brunch window where we will be the only people in the restaurant or in a very private area of it between services of breakfast and lunch. So again, this should be a really great experience, and Michael Bauer will be a part of that meal as well, so we'll help curate that. Same day, September 16th, we have lunch at Angler. Angler is a seafood-focused restaurant. It is a Michelin star restaurant that opened in 2018. 2018, it was named the best restaurant in the country by GQ and Esquire magazine. They have an open kitchen concept where you can see a lot of the preparation happening for your meal. Aubrey and I have actually been there to this particular site. It is a fantastic restaurant. It has a great experience, a beautiful restaurant. So Michael Bauer will actually go from Abaca and then we'll stop by the lunch at Angler. So we'll be a part of this lunch as well. So for anyone that is kind of seafood focused, Angler would be something I would certainly recommend. Again, great restaurant. That evening, we will have a dinner at Boulevard. Boulevard opened in 1993. Chef and owner's name is Nancy Oakes. She has been a James Beard Best Chef in California winner. It's Boulevard is year in and year out one of the best restaurants in San Francisco. We will have a private dining room for this experience in Boulevard, and the meal will be hosted by Michael Bauer, so he will be there the entire time and will be dining with you. So again, I think this is going to be a great experience, and it is, as Michael mentioned earlier, if you are in the show, the late show or the red show, we will ensure that you get into the blue show. So you see the show for the evening. And then right after that show is finished, you'll be transported to the restaurant. So that is September 16th. Moving on to September 17th, our first tour is a brunch at Parachute. So for anyone who has seen this on our website, I know it just launched today. But if you did see it and you were feverishly Googling Parachute, you probably did not find much. And that is because Parachute is actually not open yet. Through Michael Bauer, we got connected with the owner of Parachute. His name is Alex Hong. He is a Michelin star. He's actually the chef at Sorrel, which is a Michelin star restaurant in San Francisco. The bakery will be opening later this summer. This is a bakery that it's a traditional viennoiserie bakery or very traditional French baking style. So if you are into croissants, pain au chocolat, anything of that nature that you would find in Paris, this is the tour you're going to want to do. You will get a tour of the restaurant kitchen from Chef Hong, and then Michael Bauer will be there as well. That later on that day, we'll have lunch at Skoma's. Many of you have probably heard of Skoma's. It is a restaurant that is a San Francisco staple. It has been there in Fisherman's Wharf. It has been there since 1965. It was founded by Al and Joe Skoma, as I said, in 1965. It is still family owned and operated. They have a pier-to-plate menu, which means each day fishermen actually they make their catch and they bring it directly to the restaurant's pier, and that goes on the menu for the day. So this again will be a neat experience. You're going to get to dine in a private dining room but then you are also going to have access to the pier where you'll get to see fishermen drop off their catch to the restaurant. And again, kind of a cool thing when reading about the restaurant, this has been a tradition that's been going on since the late 60s, and how Skomas was able to constantly get the freshest fish in San Francisco is they bartered coffee to the fishermen for them to make the first stop of their catch at Skomas. So kind of a neat thing. Again, you'll have access to that private pier. And then our last tour on the 17th for the culinary tours is going to be at Yang Sing. Michael already mentioned this. This is kind of the preeminent San Francisco dim sum restaurant. It is a third generation restaurant that was founded in 1958. It has won James Beard's America Classic Award a number of times. The owners, along with Michael Bauer, are personally a off-menu selection for us on this day. So again, you're going to get some stuff that is not on the normal Yang Sing menu, which I think is going to be absolutely fantastic. But you will ensure to get some of the staples that are on the menu that have made the restaurant famous since 1958. So that is a bit about our various tours in Victoria and San Francisco.
Okay. Now I'm on.
Yeah.
Thank you. As to the dim sum restaurant, I've been there 3 times, and it's awesome. That's all I can tell you. It is an awesome place. Okay, non-music events like all of our cruises, we're gonna have autograph signings, recording signings. We call them sip and sign. They are usually by the coffee shop. We're gonna have listening parties. Guys are gonna be talking about their latest recordings. We have a whole host of artist hosted events, which Brad and Aubrey, when can people start signing up for those?
Those will be available we're going to launch them prior to the cruise, and then they're available for signing up on board the ship.
We have a number of interviews, people like that. Ali Mergner, who is a former publisher and editor of A Jazz Times, works with us, and he will be hosting a film series where we have game shows which involve the artist. Obviously, Alonzo will be there. A wine enrichment series we are bringing on, because of the wine theme, we are bringing on our own sommelier, and he will be giving a number of talks and demonstrations during the cruise time. It's really kind of a great way to learn more about wines. And Mario's Dancing and Cocktails. Mario Vines is our cruise director, and in the Rendezvous Lounge, in between shows, he always has something going on that is a lot of fun. So those are our non-music events. You remember the next? Non-music questions. Okay, here we go. Attire. We're gonna have one dress-up night, but it's not really something to worry about. We don't. Men wear jackets, women wear whatever it is the women wear when they go out for the evening. But the main thing for you all when it comes to attire is to be comfortable. This cruise, more than any other cruise that we've ever done, between the excursions and everything else, you're going to be moving a lot. So comfortable shoes make all the sense in the world. Temperature wise, it'll be in the 50s, 60s, maybe the 70s. Layers is the way to go. I'm trying to remember, was it Mark Twain who said that the coldest that I've ever been was the summer that I spent in San Francisco. So it can be it can be ugly in terms of cold, but it's fall. It should be absolutely beautiful, beautiful skies and beautiful weather. The nightly main seating, we've already talked about blue and red. Everyone has been divided into blue show, which is first, and then the red show, which is second. We do allow for queuing up for the nightly main shows. There are 4 entrances to the theater, and so there are four places to line up if in fact that is something that you want to do. Doors are usually, Brad, an hour before the show starts.
Yes, sir. Yep. 1
Okay,
hour is
an hour before. And the reason why we do that is rather than having people stand in line outside the main theater, they can sit inside. We have our SAFE program, which we've have on every cruise. You'll be able to sign up for that if you need assistance for entry to the main theater. There is a reserved seating, designated seating for our 10 plus guests, which is something that we've been doing for a long time. Uh, if you are a 10 plus guest, you'll have the opportunity to select a reserved seat, and that seat will be held for you for the main shows only, just until the show begins, after which anybody can sit anywhere. We try really hard to enforce a saving seat policy of you can save 1 seat, okay, presumably for your cabin mate. You cannot save a row, you cannot do things like that, but you can save 1 seat for your cabin mate. We see an awful lot of husbands going down early, mapping out the seats, and then the wives come down later. All other shows are first come, first served, no ticketing, no requirements regarding doors. When the doors open, you go in, you pick a seat. Grazing means coming in and out of shows, going to various shows like a late at night or in the afternoon when we have multiple shows. We encourage grazing. You may catch the first half of one show and the second half of another show. Perfectly acceptable. Camping, no. Camping is when you say, okay, I like everything that is going on in the Sky Lounge this afternoon. I'm going to bring a pillow and a blanket, and I'm just going to stay there. We don't like that because that's not fair to the other people. And again, just as is the case with the nightly main show, you can save 1 seat until the set begins. Photographs, no flash photography of any kind, no recording. We're going to have our full group of people there taking photographs. You can take non-flash photographs during the shows, but you cannot impair the sight line of the people around you by doing so. So holding a phone above your head to take a picture probably doesn't work. If in fact you really want to take a photo during a show, you should walk into an aisle, go up against one of the walls or something, so that you're not impeding the sight of others. Talking to musicians is tremendously encouraged. However, when they're setting up, please don't, because we're on a schedule. One of the things that Signature Cruise Experiences mandates is that everything starts on time and ends on time, and the musicians need time to set up. And then after they're set, do not talk to them there we will encourage them to move away so that we can clean up the venue and get the venue ready for the next show. But feel free to, talk to musicians. Most of them, in fact, virtually all of them, really enjoy it. Okay. Merchandise, they're gonna bring merchandise to sell in the form of CDs perhaps, and we have CD autograph signing. The ship sells, merchandise and jewelry, and I'm sure that you guys know that kind of stuff. Terrific Spa, they have lots of different applications there. They have a full a barber shop and a place for ladies' hair and manicures, and you can even get your teeth whitened if you want during the cruise. With all this wine drinking, you may need to do that. Okay. Dining. There's two kinds of dining on the ship: included and a specialty dining. Included dining, that is dining that is a part of your cruise price. There is no charge whatsoever. And there's the Ocean View Cafe, which is on deck 10.
10.
And that's open almost all the time. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, late nights. It's sort of they've done a much better job of setting it up, but it's kind of a long hallway kind of feeling. So make sure that you walk around the whole thing to see all of the choices. So many people just look at the choices that are up front, and they don't even know that in the back they are grilling fish and chicken to order and things like that. But that's open almost all the time. We have talked about blue versus red timing for your dinners. Aubrey, Brad, can you talk about reservations in the main dining room?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you have a group of people that you would like to dine with every night, you can reserve a table with us and you can just contact us, send us an email, let us know who your dining group is, and we will arrange for that. And we do that for both the red and the blue card guests. So just let us know who is in your group and which card color you are. We can also look that up for you. But easier if you provide that, and then we can arrange that for you. And what happens is you'll receive something on embarkation day letting you know which table number you were assigned to. And that will be your table for the week.
Yeah. And generally speaking, the reserve section is all on deck 5 of the main dining room, and deck 4 is a open dining section.
The Spa Cafe, that's where they have healthy foods for a breakfast and lunch. It's a lot of people love it. I know my wife loves it. I would go there if they ever served food, but they serve other stuff. I don't even know what you call some of that stuff. That's a joke, of course, but not really. Anyway, bring your own salt and pepper when you go to the Spa Cafe. But they have good stuff, seriously. And then the pool grill, that's where my wife does not go, and I go. That's where hamburgers, hot dogs, all kinds of really fun stuff that you aren't supposed to eat. What are the hours of that, Brad?
Cool. Each day from 11 a.m. until 5 p.m., Michael.
Okay. That's awesome, by the way, the pool grill. Anyway, specialty dining. This is where there's an upcharge, a little bit of fun, break up the monotony of of being in the main dining room every night. A Tuscan Grill is a celebrity staple. It is an Italian steakhouse. It's almost always the most requested a specialty restaurant. Okay. Um, Lumine on a regular cruise is a dining room that is only available for the suites. And we carry that forward for a breakfast. It's only available for the suites. But we didn't think that it made sense to do that for the cruise. So that is available to everybody. And they have a rotating menu. They probably have 5, maybe 6 entrees every night. It's very, very well prepared food, very interesting. Not, I mean, if you're in a quantity of food, you should go there twice in the same night, because they are not large portions. Sushi on 5, guess what? That's a sushi restaurant that's on deck 5. I knew you guys would figure that out, though. I had a hunch. And that is a la carte. There are people who eat every single meal there. Okay. It is very good. Now, there are now 2 other restaurants. Blue, which serves a breakfast to our Aqua and our concierge guests. And that on a regular cruise is limited to Aqua class people. And then there is Cuisine, which is in the center of the ship, where for those who are familiar with our ship, that's where the Le Petit Chef hides out. He's the animated little guy. Okay. But we don't do that. We've taken over those 2 restaurants, and Brad has a curated menus for them. Brad, you want to tell them about Signature and about SCE Chops House?
Sure. Yeah. Signature is a brand new restaurant that Journey Jazz will be the first time that we've done this one. We've had a number of different concepts in that restaurant over the years, being that we are doing a cruise going on the West Coast with a large component with Napa and Sonoma. This is kind of a nod to many of the great restaurants in Napa and Sonoma. So think for those that have dined at some of the more popular restaurants there, Bouchon Bistro, Scala's, the Charter Oak Restaurant. So it is a number of dishes that you will find on a number of the top restaurants in Napa and Sonoma. Black truffle deviled eggs, escargot, salmon tartare, seared duck, traditional coq au vin. So again, it's the menu's great. We'll be sharing it with everybody in the coming weeks, and I think everyone is going to really like it. And then Michael mentioned earlier we are bringing our own sommelier on board. That sommelier will be working very closely with us for that restaurant for creating the wine menu for it. So again, more information to come on that restaurant. And then SCE Chops House, which is at Blue. This is going to be now the 3rd year that we've had Chops House. This is a traditional American steakhouse that you would find in New York City or Chicago. So think your big beautiful ribeyes and New York strips, French onion soup, lobster bisque. So Chops House has been very popular over the last 3 years. Guests have really, really enjoyed it. Celebrity's done a great job with it. So we have brought that back by popular demand.
Okay. Room service. A lot of people believe that that's part of cruising is having room service, particularly breakfast. When it was free, it almost made sense, but it isn't free anymore. It's $7.95 or is it $8.95, Brett?
$9.95 actually.
$9.95. See, I'm already behind. Okay. And um, I'm going to tell you what I tell people every time that we do one of these webinars. I know where your cabin is, and I know where the kitchen is, and the odds of that meal coming from the kitchen to your room being hot and okay is 1 in 10. Okay. And if you ever walk out of your room and you see the guys delivering breakfasts, they have a trolley that has 20 breakfasts. So you may not be the first, you may be the 20th. It is faster and better to get out of bed, go up to the Ocean View Cafe, get breakfast, and bring it down to your room. Okay. Now, some people that isn't what they're going to do. They're going to do it, and that's part of being on a cruise. And I tip my hat to them. But it's room service is really for when you're sick, okay, and you can't get out of bed, and you want a dinner brought to you, but it is not a great experience, okay, on the ship. The other, which I'm not sure that
Good question.
we're going to get to. The other thing that I always tell people to avoid: dry cleaning. Okay. Dry cleaning on the ship is incredibly slow, incredibly expensive, and not very good. Okay. Just bring extra clothes and then not worry about it. One of the tips I always bring is, if you're bringing something that needs to be ironed, don't. Um, because you can't bring an iron. There isn't any way to get it pressed. And if you walked into your room on the first day and gave them five things to be pressed, I'm not sure that you'd have them before the third day. Okay. It just isn't something that, they do well. Okay. And now where are we
Yeah,
at?
I think we're going to go ahead and take some
Questions? Do it.
So Jordan's been monitoring the Q&A, and as I said before, we're gonna, I know we're running a little long, so we're gonna answer especially the ones that have come up from multiple people. And then anything we don't get to, we will respond to you directly within 24 to 48 hours via email. Okay.
Aubrey, a question for you. Can you expand a little bit more on what people can bring on board in terms of alcohol and drinks?
Yes. So on embarkation day, each guest may bring one bottle of either wine or champagne, 750 milliliters, so standard size. You may bring other non-alcohol drinks, so sodas, waters, energy drinks, etc. You can bring those on. You have to hand carry those, and there's not a specific limit, although I anticipate most people probably can't hand carry more than 12 or so. As far as spirits go, that is not allowed to be brought on board. That will be confiscated from you.
Going a little further on that, with the wine excursions, are you allowed to purchase wine and bring those on board to take home?
Yes, so you can purchase wine. A lot of the wineries will probably make an offer to ship it back to you, depending on how much you are bringing. If it's something that you'd like to bring back on board, you can do that. Celebrity Cruises would hold the wine for you, and then you can get that on disembarkation day. If you're trying to bring something on board to drink, they would charge you a corkage fee for that. And I believe that's $35 if you're going to do that.
So theoretically, you could, I'm asking, bring a bottle on and then bring another bottle on when you go to the winery. Is that Is that
Ye-
accurate?
If you bring it on when you go, after you go to the winery, they will charge you regardless of if it's just the one. You only get the one bottle for no charge on embarkation day.
Got it. Yeah.
And otherwise, they will hold it for you complimentary. You just wouldn't be able to consume it while you're on board. You would pick that up on disembarkation day.
So it isn't any different than when people go to places and buy all kinds of liquor cheaper, the ship holds it, until it's ready to go.
Correct.
Okay.
It's essentially like if you were to purchase a duty-free bottle.
Right.
Mhm.
Yes.
How is the cell service on and offshore?
Typically very, very good. The Celebrity's really done a good job with the internet. What's that system called, Brad? They have
Starlink. Yeah, Starlink.
Starlink, and we've been amazingly surprised by it. The other thing is, on this particular cruise, we are never really at open sea. We're at the coast almost, though, so I anticipate that both cell service and internet service will be very, very good.
Is the fitness center open 24 hours and is that no extra cost?
Brad?
There's no extra cost for not the classes. So the fitness classes are an additional cost, but just to use the actual fitness center, the equipment, you can go in and use that. And it's open from 6 a.m. to
11
11 p.m.
Will there be music performed on the ship while we're in port?
We will start the music um before we take off. But I mean, during the bulk of the day when we're in port, no. And that's for a couple of reasons. Number one, the artists like to get off. And two, we have found that's not what most guests want. There are guests that love to be on the ship when we're in port, and they just take advantage of the opportunity to relax and enjoy the ship without a lot of other things going on.
When and how will we be able to book SCE Chops House?
So that we have been working with Celebrity to get that within the Celebrity pre-cruise planner that I spoke about a little bit earlier. Because it's a departure from what they typically do, it does take them a little bit longer. We will be sending out that information in one of our get ready emails, letting you know that it is available for reservations. And that is also the same procedure for the signature at QZ.
Will there be a veterans breakfast?
We don't have one currently planned. Um, we can talk about that. That is something that we usually do on a smooth jazz cruise because we have a large number. I will check that out and we will get back to you. But as of this moment, no.
And will there be a gospel show?
Absolutely.
Will there be dancing on board?
Yes,
And is there a casino on the ship?
yes, there is a casino.
I think those are the big ones.
I see
It's
some
their third-
questions, I think, about included beverages and if there's water stations for filling water bottles. So yes, in the Ocean View Cafe, you can get water for your water bottles, complimentary. If you bring your own water bottle to that, there's also plenty of reusable cups that you can get there. And then as far as other beverages that are available during dining times, there's again just the tap water, there's coffee, there's tea, and then there's a variety of different juices that are also available. And those are available in the Ocean View Cafe as well as the main dining room, the Cosmopolitan Restaurant.
Another one, is there smoking allowed on board?
There is smoking allowed on board. It is in only the identified places on board, which is a small location on deck 10 and 11, and then also on deck 4. I believe it's the port side.
Okay. And if you're going to the first show, what time should you expect dinner to be after?
So if you're going, going to the first
8:30.
show, really once your show is over, you're able to proceed to the dining room. It will be open and ready to go for you. Are the times that we list are 7:30 until 8:15. So if you wanted to go to your show and then stop and have a drink somewhere or go have a coffee or something, you can do that. But the last seating in the dining room, the last time guests will be sat is approximately 8:15.
But if you go to the Ocean View restaurant or any of the specialty restaurants, you can do it later.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Take maybe 2 more.
Yeah. Let's see. What is the pier location in San Francisco?
We can send that out. I don't want to give the wrong information. I believe it's Pier 27 though. It's right downtown.
Will transportation to SF Jazz be provided?
Yes, it will. That is included in the cost of the concert tickets. Price that you'll see on our website when you look at tickets includes transportation to and from the venue.
Okay.
All right.
All right. In the interest of time, we're going to move on to just a kind of a wrap up, some takeaways.
Yeah, I'm gonna do this really quickly. These are just some silly things, some of them. Thank you. Please make sure that you have your passport and that it's valid and that you know where it is. There will be 3 to 5 of you who will come to the terminal without a passport. You don't want to be one of them. We do ask you to arrive in Vancouver a day before. It just makes things so much easier. Complete your online check-in as soon as that service is activated, and complete as many purchases and reservations before you start boarding the ship. There really is no great central location on the ship, and it's just nice to have all of that behind you. We're going to tell you when the performance schedule can be accessed. Planning your days, planning your shows ahead of time, it makes a lot of sense. You don't want to wake up on Thursday morning to see that the person that you really wanted to see performed 2 nights before. So lots of people print that out, circle it, highlight it. It's really interesting to watch. And there's a daily program that you get that will have a schedule as well. Be sure to allow extra time to reach the cruise terminal, whether you're coming from the airport, hotel, whatever. Be comfortable with your clothes. Just be comfortable and remember to bring layers for the cooler evenings. A choice of clothing should reflect the fact that irons and steamers are not allowed. They will They will grab them. And as I said before, dry cleaning is very expensive and it takes a lot of time. I'll be sure to submit your group dining information if you are doing that. And then try as hard as you can to leave your work, your obligations, and your worries at home. And be sure to pack your smile, your love of music, and most of all, your humanity. One of the great aspects of being on one of our cruises is it's 2,000 people there for the same purpose. It's very inclusive. It's very warm, and it's a wonderful feeling to be on a ship for a week, to enjoy other people, music, and in this case, a whole bunch of really, really cool excursions as well. We look forward to seeing you. There'll be another one of these coming up
About a month out.
about a month out. And but if you have any questions, email us in the interim. And we want you to walk on that ship knowing as much as you possibly can so that you're not spending the first couple of days wandering around the ship. Okay? Enjoy yourselves.
Mhm.
Happy 4th of July. Happy summer. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. And like we said, this recording will be available on the website tomorrow. Thank you.